Buongiorno from Florence, Italy. It's an overcast day today. It was nice and sunny yesterday. It's a pity because that does help raise your spirits a bit. Well, every day it's a little bit different. Controls get a little bit stricter. It's been difficult, definitely. You know, I was down to 45 euros and I was really getting worried, you know, how am I going to just buy food, let alone anything else. And then yesterday, my sister is really nice of her. She suggested that I start up a project that I did several years ago, which was doing portraits over video conferencing. A lot of it is, you know, I need to earn some money, but then another thing is it's a buffer against the solitude.
And somebody will pass. Like at least once every half an hour during the night. Now, you can't hear a soul, my friend.
There you go.
Oh, I love it. Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
You see it there? Not very well. Anyway, so let's see. What number is Dave?
I actually see it a lot more positive. At the beginning, I had maybe an hysterical reaction because I was worried about work and was worried about money. But I realized everybody was in the same boat as me or even worse. So I just learned to kind of swallow that down, and then my days became very repetitive. I got up more or less at the same time and more or less just spend my time in the 4 rooms of my house. I've gotten to know my family better because, you know, when we're going day to day with the mundane tasks of getting our kids to school and all of the after school activities and making sure they brush their teeth and take baths, you forget to actually know who these people are and get to know them. And in this period, we're all vulnerable, and I find that beautiful.
What we're all going through together worldwide is something that we will definitely be telling our children about. What I do every day now that since the lockdown I've been unable to work was slowing down in life now. The things that were once important are no longer important. We've been able to appreciate what really truly matters, and I think one of the most important things has been our health and appreciating the loved ones that we have. The city is a little bit depressing on rainy days, but it feels pretty peaceful on sunny days. It's really relieving to look out the window and see that life still goes on and that we're pretty organized about this whole ordeal. The country has been wonderful, and I'm really proud of all the Italians and all of its residents.
It's nearly a week we've been staying at home. I don't see anything bad in staying at home when I really want it. But when you need to get confined within some close space, it's another pair of shoes. What I feel about that, it feels a little bit strange that it's such a lovely day and I cannot go out. And I understand why. But at the same time, it's so difficult to accept. When I was on the balcony, the car arrived, and the guys who collect this rubbish started doing his job. And I felt so grateful to him that in this difficult time he continues working. We only need to stay at home, doing nothing special, but he keeps working and he takes risks. And I would like to show you one thing. Do you see this tree? I made a wish. Now you can see a few flowers in the tree, but when the whole tree is going to be in blossom, the whole thing with this virus is going to be over. And we're going to be able to continue our normal life, everyday life.
Staying at home. I must say this situation is not unusual for me, because my apartment is where I work most of the time, and often spending days without meeting anyone. Of course, now there are different feelings involved. One thing we can learn from this condition is to be aware of our time and organize it. Little challenges to win, like not to refresh news page every 2 minutes or reading whatever message from whatever chat.
What I'm learning about during my quarantine is my weaknesses and my fears of losing family, close friends, friendly faces that I see in the streets every day. I don't think things will be the same, certainly not immediately, and perhaps it shouldn't be the same as it was before. Hopefully we will have learned something.
I'm standing in the apartment that my company was designing and building. I work in the tourism industry, so we've been hit really hard. It's really eerie here because everything is broken and torn down, and it feels very, very apocalyptic. But you know what? I'm willing to do anything to make this virus go away, even if that means sacrificing all the ideas and plans that I had for my company, which just turned 1 year old yesterday. Never would have imagined I'll be celebrating it like this. I had so many plans, but you know what? This is just like holding our breath. That's how I see it.
It sort of feels like I'm living in a movie. You know, I'm fighting some contagion, and I'm an actress who's going to have to figure out the next plot twist in the film. It's sort of scary, but there's an adrenaline rush too. Although I do feel like the adrenaline rush is wearing off. I do feel that we are in this together. I mean, simply by the fact of being part of this video.
So life in quarantine means spending time with my dog. I live a little bit out in the countryside, so I do have a beautiful view. Not going into work means time for laundry, cleaning shoes, and spending time with him.
There is an incredible silence, a silence full of nothing. Normally we live in a certain silence here, but this is different. No cars passing on our small road. No one taking walks, no bikers, just silence. My thoughts and hope for life after quarantine is that life after this pandemic will change into a slower and greener life. That after weeks of life locked into our homes, somehow have changed our way of how we want to live our life after quarantine.
And as far as life after quarantine, I can't imagine how things would change if things would change. You know, I can see now in terms of pollution, you know, the waters of Venice and the canals are clear for the first time in who knows how long. I definitely think there should be a change, but I wonder how it would be done.
Feeling a bit disconnected, really. It's coming up to week 4 now, and the view from my window seems unreal. It's a landscape I can look at but not walk around in, like a painting or a film. I wonder how long I'll be here like this. I had prepared for 4 weeks, but it could be 4 months, and so time seems like it's stretching out to fill the new space. My routine is minimal, and productivity is not just difficult, but frankly a kind of confusing concept. I feel like the city and I are taking a rest, and by editing this film, I'm dreaming of a city that now feels so far away.
My routine under the Italian quarantine. Well, here it goes. Morning. Rolling in my bed, comfortably salutating the sun that visits me through the tiny window. Maybe 10 more minutes of sleep, I tell to myself, and I indulge in them. Depending on the day, the menu changes. But the important thing is to catch the rays that coming from the east can caress my skin while I sip the first tea. Today, I saw the first sprouts of mejorana. I was filled with joy. Down by my feet, the shy potatoes are growing too. Breathing, nourishing, and just fully being are forgotten arts that as arts are reserved for a few privileged ones. Or, by the other hand, are for sure the underestimated bliss that in the daily as usual life are there, but with a slight feel of guilt. Truth to be told, these days have not really changed, but for the last thing said. Proceeding with a self-care routine that is clearly not productive-centered without the notion of guilt. Summing it up, the whole quarantine, for me, has been more paradoxically freeing.